Robert Kalil, welcome to Nature of Reality Radio. Like me, you are a radio show host, and I told you just now before, and I'll say it again. Sometimes I think the best guest a radio show host can have on their show is another radio show host because the people that we interview and the people we talk to makes us an encyclopedia of information. And you sure seem like an encyclopedia of information. Looking at your YouTube channel alone, you have interviewed so many people. I checked your most popular videos. Seems like Elena Denon pops up 100 zillion times. You said you don't interview her anymore. Not that you need to, because she seems to do weekly updates all the time, so she's up to date on everything. So she keeps uploaded her stuff, even if people don't talk to her. But I'm so surprised she's extremely popular on your channel. I see some other familiar faces, people that I've interviewed as well. I heard about you from Vincent Dockstader. He reached out to me on Facebook to friend me. He had 5,000 friends already, but he wanted just to reach out to me anyway to be able to follow his channel and such. And I interviewed him. Fascinating guy. His artwork is so good. He might as well make a museum out of his house. I don't know why he doesn't. He could probably make a fortune if he did. But after
I know, right? It's pretty
yes,
cool. He's a cool guy. I like Vincent a lot. And I've had him on
yes,
my show too. I let him come on and show his art and stuff like that.
I
You
did as
know.
well. And it's I looked at your channel after I saw that, and very impressive that you can do sometimes more than one show a day. Um, that's it's pretty. I wish I could do that. I'm going through a lot of hell in my life right now. Still haven't found a job. I've been unemployed for 6 months, and I'm kind of running out of savings. And sometimes I think the only reason my guardian angels and spirit guides haven't given me a job yet is because I still have money in my bank account, but that's kind of running out. And every time I apply for a job, they tell me, "Sorry, someone has more experience than you. We don't need you." And how is someone supposed to get experience if nobody will hire you unless you have experience? It's one of the most biggest mystery questions of all. And well, maybe something will change soon. I got a job interview at Wawa on Monday, and maybe they'll take me. So, Benny, hey, enough about me. This is about you. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us what did you experience that causes you to do the stuff that you do? What made you decide to be a radio host? What subjects matters interest you the most? Enlighten us anything you want to talk about. The first uh, 40 to 45 minutes of this show will be for everybody. So there has to be Patreon. I'll make the announcement then. But if you want to get out anything you want everybody to hear, please make sure you get it out maybe in the first half hour. So knock yourself out. I will put myself on mute. I don't have Alex Jones-itis. I don't interrupt my guests much anyway. So I'll shut up and put myself on mute. You got the floor.
Okay, hey guys, I'm Rob Kalil, and I'm with the Typical Skeptic podcast. And I'm lucky. I do podcasting full time. I was in the Matrix world. I had a lot of different jobs. I had a lot of different problems with jobs, and I finally decided to step out of that. And I took a bet on myself. That's why I do so many podcasts a day. It's part of it. Like I feel like I have to keep myself. I feel like if I'm going to do it full time, I have to what's the word I'm looking for? I have to keep myself motivated, and to keep myself motivated, I have to keep searching for the truth, because I love to find the truth. I don't know what exactly the truth is, because once you start looking into the paranormal and all these topics, like, you end up with more questions than you have answers. And after 1,286 shows, I think I'm at 1,290 now. I've done 1,290 interviews. I still have more questions than answers. But where this all started from was, I had my awakening in 2016. I would call it that. Okay. But way before that, I was listening to like paranormal and UFO radio. I was a big fan of Art Bell when I was a kid. So I'm 44 years old now. And when I was in my 20s, I would listen to the Art Bell show. This is back when you would have to listen to it on the radio. There was no internet radio back then. It was just like, Art Bell was it. There was no podcast. It was like, if there was, it was barely none, because this was around 98, 99, 2000, 2001, when Art Bell was the only person on the radio doing it, But it was awesome because he had a huge audience, and he was syndicated nationwide, and he would talk about shadow people and UFOs and paranormal and reincarnation and all the stuff that I wanted to know about. But of course, I had a real Christian mindset then, so I was like kind of, I don't know if I was looking at things the right way. And then in 2016, I had a reawakening, and what that was is I had my like spiritual awakening where what was the catalyst for that was I heard about the story of the Anunnaki, and it blew my mind that like they could be lying to us about our history. So then I went down that rabbit hole, and then that obviously got me back into UFOs and the paranormal. But then now, so then in 2020, when the pandemic hit, I wanted to start a podcast. I wanted to start interviewing people, so I did. And now 4 years later, here I am. But my podcast kind of took a turn. Like whereas like I was interviewing people before, but now it's turned into, oh my God, someone made a lot of noise outside. But now it's made a turn where I'm interviewing a lot more secret space program witnesses, military abductees, people who say they've been abducted by the military, targeted individuals, people who say they're targeted individuals, um, people who suffer from SRA, satanic ritual abuse. This is I mean, I still do other interviews too. I have psychics on my show every week. We do psychic readings every week. That helps me bring in a little bit of income and, stuff like that. Not much at all, to be honest, but I mean, it's something. And then, I just have anybody on that's like really interesting, but that's the turn it's led to. Like tonight I have Tony Rodriguez coming on. He's a secret space program witness, and I think he has one of the most credible stories. So, I mean, but that's kind of just an idea of like what I do right now. Was that good? Is that kind of what you were looking for?
Yes. I always give the chance to set the tone in my interviews by having my listeners tell their life story. It seems like best way to set the tone. And you got Tony Rodriguez on, and listening to him a lot. It's interesting. I was really into UFOs and alien stuff when I was young. I remember when I was in 4th grade checking out books out of the school library that dealt with that. And I actually remember looking at the back of the book, and I was the only person in the school who wanted to look at that. And it's a shame if people actually did look at that when they were really young and thought it was something worth researching. I'm sure we would have more people interested in the subject matter now, because it's definitely real. And it's not poo-pooed as much as it used to be. David Wilcock, in his most recent 3-hour podcast, I think he's got another one today. He's doing them once a week now. Good for him. He said you can talk about ancient alien stuff and you're not going to get ridiculed like you used to in the past. As far as secret space goes, I went through the trouble of listening to every single show that was on the UFO TV Studios YouTube channel back in the day when it used to do. It doesn't do it anymore, but I listened to all of them. But for whatever the reason, I don't really seem to want to listen to secret space stuff as much anymore, because, well, I'm sure most of it is probably just preaching to the choir. Although as far as updates go, there's only 2 sources I really need to listen to, I think, and everybody else could, just to make sure they stay up to date on everything. And that's Elena Danon's weekly reports, and also Micah Sala. He started doing every week a summary show of all the stuff that he talks about in his shows for that week, as well as other stuff that's come up in the news regarding secret space program. So I don't really think I need to listen to radio interviews and watch documentaries much anymore, now that I know that those things are those 2 programs, Elena Danon's weekly thing and Michael Sala's.
What are they providing about the secret space program? Because there's so many other people out there that have testimonies. Like everybody has a testimony. Everybody needs to be heard.
Oh, now that's a whole new can of worms we can talk about.
You can't
Michael
depend
Sala.
on 2 people for your whole set. You can't depend on 2 people for your whole perspective on life. That's
right,
like,
but they're trying to provide a consortium, sort of like Alex Jones or Drudge Report, provide a news from different sources. It's not just their info; it's info from other people that they're trying to put into a program. Michael Salas can be up to an hour. Elena Danon usually 20 to 30 minutes. Her programs are. So I'm not going to argue with you that you should look at other people, but I've heard a little bit of everybody at this point, and as far as updates go, I think they're probably the 2 best. Although Third Phase of the Moon, that channel is really good when it comes to updates as well. Stephen Greer stuff, yeah, he's another guy who's good at updates. But when it comes to
I don't do updates. I'm not. That's not what I'm doing. Like I'm interviewing people who say they're targeted individuals, military abductees, secret space program witnesses, brand new people that don't have a voice. Like that's what I do. Like I also interview big people like Tony Rodriguez and stuff like that too. But I interview people who don't have a voice because it makes for interesting content. You know what I mean? And I don't follow same people as you. That's why. I mean, I do to a certain degree, but I really don't. I mean, to be honest, because I look into other stuff. That's why I'm kind of all over the place. Like I like to be the way Art Bell was, where he interviewed everybody. You know what I mean? Like, but some people are closed-minded and they don't want to do interviews. So, there's nothing you can do.
Yes,
But
and
that's
when it
kind
comes
of how I feel about that.
and when it comes to secret space program, it seems like some of the people who you would think would support it actually seem to poo-poo it, but I think maybe they have an agenda. Like one person in particular, Brad Johnson, ET contactee who channels Adronis, he's actually said there's nobody genuine in the secret space program, and I'm thinking you of all people would be saying that. But you know what I think maybe is going on? I think he's doing that as a strategy, because I'm thinking he knows it's for real. He just also knows that there's a lot of people who have had secret space program experience who are too chicken, for lack of a better word, to come out because they fear for their reputation. But he's thinking that if he says there's people that have in the secret space program who are genuine, who have come out, and all the other people are frauds, he dare uses that word, then he's actually maybe giving a kick in the pants to all the people who are too chicken to come out, to make them try to come out so we can get the secret space program information out and reveal the truth sooner rather than later. So I'm thinking he doesn't believe what he says. He's just saying that as a strategy to give all the people who are too cowardly a kick in the pants to have them come out. Do you think maybe there's some truth to that?
I don't know who he is. I don't know who
Okay,
Brad Johnson is.
cool, fair
I'm
enough.
not.
But all right. Um, are there any secret space program people who your gut instinct tells you are definitely real? And are there ones that tell you their gut instinct is a fraud? We all know the blue avian guy. It seems like people say that he must have been making the whole thing up, and he kind of admitted that. But then again, there's a few people I've spoken to who say that that he doesn't really mean it when he says he made it up. He was just under so much pressure from the courts and all regarding his lawsuit material that he kind of just blurted that out, even though he doesn't believe it. He said, "Fine, let people think what they want. I'm just going to say this maybe to let people make a skeptic out of me and let people come after me with ammunition and all that, just to expose the frauds, the trolls, and the shills and all that." But I really at this point I'm really not so ready to admit that the blue avian guy, I'm talking about, is a fraud. So are there people that you think are definitely real, and those who think are definitely faking, even if they don't mean to be faking, they just believe lies?
I think everybody's experienced something, otherwise they wouldn't be coming out with it. I don't think anybody would want to put themselves under that much scrutiny and like ridicule to be called a fake. So I don't think anybody's fake. I just don't know what they're experiencing. But as far as like real people who I'd really think have like really legit, I would say Arkeem Ra is real. His story's real. Penny Bradley, Tony Rodriguez, Olivia James. Those all have like those are real. I mean, like I think their testimonies are all. I mean, I can't verify it. I don't have any evidence, but they seem pretty real. I don't know.
Fair enough. Um, your gut and your heart can usually, of course, I'm sure you can always use a pendulum to say, is this secret space program person real or a fraud, and see where the pendulum goes. But I've got a feeling the pendulum is going to swing sideways to say maybe, to let you to say, sorry, you got to decide for your own. I'm not going to give you the correct answer to that question. So, but as far as mind control goes, how does mind control factor into all this? You got people saying the secret space program people, and also the time people say they've time traveled and all. They're just under mind control. Could it possibly be that simple to just give that as a cop out excuse to downplay these people, or do you think by their tone and demeanor they're not really under mind control?
No, I think everybody was mind controlled to a certain degree. It just depends on what program they were been in. Like there's been all different kinds of government programs run on people, and that's what we're trying to uncover. That's the whole goal of doing one of the reasons why I do what I do. So it's not just like to be like a paranormal and UFO radio host, but to get the truth out about some of these clandestine programs that are being run on people that have you know, took away their lives basically, or made them like have to come out and talk about this information. Because I can imagine it can't be easy to come out and talk about this. It has to
Mhm.
be like really hard. I don't know.
Okay, seems like some of these recent programs have some angel stuff mentioning. There's one interview you did about a month ago dealing with Archangel Uriel contacting. You have Uriel sort of looking like Emperor Palpatine with the red robe he's got over him, and some other angel things here. Now, when it comes to angel contact, well, what is an alien? What is an ET? What is an angel? Shouldn't use the word alien. That kind of puts an illegal alien kind of tone on it. But ET or what are they? They're another version of us, of course. They're everything's infinite consciousness, and the reason an entity came into your life is because your vibrational frequency vibrated in a way that allowed it to come to you. But just simply saying they are you, that doesn't really answer anything. There's got to be more to it, because no two people are alike, no two entities are alike. It's a whole collective of that person plus all the universe at the same time. It's a fractal thing, if you know what I mean. But when it comes to comparing and contrasting different type of ETs and angels, can you say what is an angel? To you, what is an ET? To you, what is a other dimensional being? And how do you determine what dimension or density they come from, if you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I don't know what density they come from. It seems like their densities above us and below us, or maybe it seems like there's definitely angels and then there's fallen angels, and it seems like the fallen angels are what has control of our planet. If I'm not sure about that, but I mean, if you look at the way that humanity's going, it's pretty inhumane, the things that happen to human beings. And people say that it's being cleaned up, and people say that things are getting better. Like, I mean, I'm not being not optimistic, but it doesn't seem like it is, So that's another reason why I like to do my shows. I like to bring awareness to like how I can help humanity. But I mean, as far as like what's an ET, what's an alien, I mean, I don't know. I would guess ETs are just extraterrestrials from other planets. Angels could be specific to like this Earth game, if you want to call it a game, like that. Where it seems like we're in like a simulation, like an Earth realm. Angels could be, helpers of whatever kind of matrix we're in, if you want to call it that. And then the fallen angels might be the ones in control of this planet. And I'm not sure what density they're from, though. That's interesting to think about, though.
Well, of course, and of course, nobody knows the difference between dimension and density. That's another subject matter that could have another whole new can of worms. But anyway, I'm not going to debate that. There's more important things to talk about on this show. On that, I see it. Noticed that on that Archangel Uriel video you did about a month ago. One of the things in the title there, fighting reptilians. Now that brings up something that a debate of sorts, that I hear back in the day, about what is going to happen if a human being runs in contact with a malevolent reptilian alien. One thing I've heard is, if you run into a malevolent reptilian alien, don't fear, don't worry, just radiate love from your heart chakra, and you can use the love as a weapon, because that it is basically a weapon of sorts, like Krypton is to Superman what love energy is to a malevolent reptilian, and you'll be able to suppress the reptilian alien in a heartbeat with your love energy. But then I've heard the other end of the story, like Alex Collier in his groundbreaking 1994 interview. He said something to the effect of, if you run into a malevolent reptilian alien, don't bother getting metaphysical, don't bother getting all heartwarming. You are totally screwed. They'll tear you apart to shreds in a heartbeat. They'll devour your carcass like Garfield the cat devours lasagna, and they'll drink your blood like a drunken sailor drinks rum. You are totally screwed. You got no choice. So obviously there's a little debate there as to who's right regarding what's going to happen when you run into a malevolent reptilian alien. I see you put fighting reptilians. Do you have to fight them, or do you just radiate love, or is there no hope because you're totally screwed? They'll tear you to shreds in heart.
I think people think that, like, I think that woman that you're talking about, that's Diana Albersolar. She was talking about how she fights reptilians in the astral, like, so she feels like she can like shoot light at them, like, so it's not really something coming from the heart chakra, but it's like, like astral battle, like you're like shooting your light energy at them, and that could do it. But I don't like necessarily buy into anyone's agenda. I kind of just keep a neutral perspective on everything. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying I believe what she says completely, because I don't know for sure, because I've never met a reptilian. I mean, I hope I don't, but then I've heard, on the other hand, on the flip side of that, I've heard that there's some benevolent reptilians too, but and some people say that we have the wrong idea about the reptilians, that some of them are good, and I don't know how it's hard to tell because I've never met one, to be honest. So, I think that's what she was referring to. And then like I said, I like to stay neutral about things, like I just interview people and then, it comes out and then people can do what they want with it. But, that is interesting though, for sure. I agree, you know.
Yes, it is, and little bit of a controversy regarding the extent by which the malevolent reptilian overlords and their gray alien subordinates are influencing our reality, and also the extent by which the good ones are influencing. Back in the day, Akashic Records reader Andrew Barca said there's 18 species of reptilian alien influencing reality on Earth, and only one is malevolent. Although there's different clones and factions of malevolent ones like Draco, Hydra, Sirius B. They're all clones of each other, Bart's asserted. So, in that sense, they're all just one species. But the idea that they're not influencing our reality, Alex Collier, and also when I interviewed Andromeda Council contact Tolek, Elena Denon's also pointed this out in her talks. That she does once a week, that the Draco reptilian overlords, and also the Orion and Zeta factions, they are gone. The reason planet Earth doesn't seem to be getting any better is because, well, just because they're gone doesn't mean the mess is going to get cleared up when they're gone. They've left a mess here on Earth that the humanity has to clean it up, and the Illuminati bloodline factions, they're still here. The problem though with the overlords being gone, they don't have the luxury of asking their overlords, come and help me, because the white hats and the good guys, they're about to overthrow our agenda. I need you to come in and shut them down. And well, that they don't have the luxury of doing that anymore. So it's now easier for the white hats to clean up Earth. Do you think that that's what's really going on? The white hats just have to clean up Earth now. The mess is still here, but the overlords are gone.
I don't believe in any white hats. I don't know. I don't think that's real. I don't know. I don't know for sure. I'd like to think there is, but I've never seen any proof of any. It's like I've seen as much proof of a white hat as I've seen as a reptilian, like, which is none. So I just go by what, but I'll tell you what I do have proof of. I do have proof of people telling me they're still being abducted. They're still being abducted by grays. They're still having reptilian contact. That's stuff I do get on a consistent basis. So what you can do with that what you will, but that's what people are telling me. I don't know why. I don't know if they're gone or if there's still some here or what's going on. But I mean, I find it weird that people are telling me they're still being abducted. Maybe that could be my labs too, but
yes.
I don't think
it doesn't have to be ETs. And many UFOs that you see could actually be some sort of government technology that has nothing to do with ETs. Very possible. So it's a discernment question. Now, I see you've talked about targeted individuals a couple times. Now, what does one have to do to become a targeted individual? I mean, anybody who's so cowardly that they say, I refuse to resist the system of domination and control because I fear what they might do to me if I resist. Now, I am the exact opposite, and I made that clear during a police encounter I had in Arizona, where I was pulled over and for allegedly speeding, and I made it clear to the cop, listen, I'm not operating in a commercial capacity. I'm not in a for-hire capacity. The laws of the road do not apply to me because I'm not in commerce. I'm exercising my right to travel. I'm not giving you anything, and you have no authority to do anything. At which point he proceeded to grip me out of the car and make my life really miserable for a little while. But I never gave in my rights for fear, out of fear, and the idea that they're going to make me a targeted individual just because I spend my free time exposing agendas and exposing evil deeds and doing a show like this. That's the last thing about I'm concerned about. I'm even going to say that if they threaten to kill my family, I'm not going to shut up. If they kill my family, I'm still not going to shut up. So when it comes to targeted individuals, what exactly does one have to do to become a target individual? How do they know if it's worth it in their best interest to make someone a target individual? And the most important question, if you tell the system of domination and control, threatening me and doing bad things to my family is not going to make me shut up, then they will actually not bother you.
It has nothing to do with them. It has nothing to do with what you just said. Like what it is targeted individuals or people who are targeted. They have crazy things happen to them all the time that they can't explain. They have people surveilling their house. They have like threats. They have gaslighting. They have gang stalking. They have their, it doesn't have to be a whistleblower all the time. It can be your normal average everyday Joe on the street. Then that's a lot of times that's what it is. And they don't understand why they're targeted. They have no reason why and they're not speaking up against the government. They're not doing anything except like living their everyday lives, but they're targeted. And that makes no sense. And I get people coming out to me all the time, more and more people saying, I'm a targeted individual. And what they're trying to do really is make sense of it. Everybody's trying to make sense of why they're targeted. But I mean, that's good for you that if you said if they murder your family, you wouldn't stop talking. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I could say the same thing. But I don't think it would ever come to that because I mean, that's just not reality. That's kind of what I feel about that.
Well, I actually don't have any children, so if I did, would I let them murder my kids anyway? I don't know. If I did, I'd make sure I communicate with my kids on the other side.